Alright guys, you're listening to the Sabotage Show, and I am your saboteur, the moderately annoyed Canadian here, and I am sitting here in my robe tonight, because I don't give a fuck. This is how I roll. Anyway, today I wanted to talk about the upcoming releases of the PlayStation 4, and of course the Microsoft Xbox One, and the controversy that follows with these two consoles that are coming out. Actually, I wouldn't say that the PlayStation has seen as much negativity towards and directed towards the upcoming release. I don't think a lot of people expected to hold. I know it's gonna sound really weird because I am in no way a fanboy of either of the two companies. Nintendo, I'm on the fence a little bit about, just because they're innovative in their own rights. They kind of almost in a way stay out of that market. At the same time, they are very competitive. They have the sales to prove it ever since like the late 80s. With the NES, the Nintendo Entertainment System, the original console to come out with the 8-bit graphics. But anyway, back to what I was saying. With the PlayStation 4 coming out and the release of the Xbox One, the controversy that follows these two companies, I don't think that a lot of people were expecting much from the Sony PlayStation. I think that what they were expecting was what they got with the PS3, with a bit of maybe a graphics boost, a processor boost, a newer Blu-ray player, of course. Maybe faster storage, maybe, I don't know. I think that these companies are just off topic, but I think these companies are kind of going in the wrong direction. If they're still using hard drives, and I know price per storage is still there with that. I mean, you're paying for gigs with that. But we are entering a day and age where they're already talking about moving everything to the cloud. And why not give us something? If we're gonna have to store this little bit of data on these disks, why can't they put a solid state drive in these things? Even if it's as much as 120 gigs, if not even less, you could pay for more. Kind of like you're doing with regular hard drives. But these solid state drives will read faster, will write faster for the information that we do need to store on these things. If they're gonna be storing these games in the cloud, why not give us something that we can quickly read off of, then read the rest of the information from the cloud? Because gaming performance is not based off of your solid state drive. That's all graphics and processors. So with the PlayStation release, I believe that people were looking at this as, we're going to get a better graphics processor, and we're going to get a better Blu-ray player, probably better sound quality, because the PS3 really, in my opinion, kicked ass when it came to all of those things. Now, gaming-wise, I don't know, because for me, I've kind of hit a point in my life where I don't care as much when it comes to gaming. I guess I'm maybe not in that age group anymore where that's what they were aiming for. But at one point in my life, that's all that mattered to me. I could care less about the sound quality. I could care less about the graphics because it was all about the game, right? But right now, we're seeing a lot of releases of these things that, to me, it's all based off of graphics, and the game could suck ass, but it's pretty to look at. And I think the PlayStation knows that. I think that our attention spans are lessened, and they need to just give you something that'll throw in your face and say, hey, look at this, this is pretty, go to the warm, glowing light, and you'll love it. Now, with the Xbox, Microsoft, in my opinion, here's where I have to I have to attack the fanboys a little bit. You got the PlayStation fanboys, of course, the Nintendo fanboys, and the Xbox fanboys, or the Microsoft fanboys. I have to defend Microsoft to a certain degree here. Upon the original release of the Xbox in 2001, there was a lot of skepticism, really. People were thinking, okay, this is Microsoft. What are they going to give us now? We're going to get the blue screen of death. We're going to see these problems and these problems and these problems. The thing about Microsoft is they make amazing hardware. And a lot of people don't know that. You think of Microsoft as being an operating system. Not too many people realize that they are one of the leading companies in software engineering, hardware, and recently with their new phone releases and the purchase of the company Nokia, they're even going to get stronger in those. So when the original Xbox came out, people were thinking, okay, we're going to get the blue screen of death. This thing's going to crash all the time, and we're going to have nothing but issues. This thing's going to suck. And of course, it probably had a slow start in sales. And of course, over time, people learned, it's a great gaming console. In a way, it kind of reminded me at the time of a Nintendo. Mainly because it was like, You throw your game in, you turn on this big giant box, and you play your game, and it's good. It's good times, right? And I always felt like the PlayStation, on the other hand, was kind of the opposite. It was like, okay, we're going to give you a DVD player, we're going to give you this, we're going to give you this, we're going to give you this, and oh yeah, here's a couple of games too. Because the PlayStation 2, I always felt had a really good gaming capabilities. It had some good releases, but I think the world was kind of waiting for something big to come out, something big that it could just handle all this hardware, and I think Microsoft gave that to us. The faster gaming processor, I should say. Of course, then the PS3 came out and the Xbox 360 came out, and what we saw there was, okay, these guys are a little bit more head-to-head in the sense that they're both competing with the HD DVD on the Xbox, of course, which eventually, kind of lost in the battle of the high definitions, and then the PlayStation with the Blu-ray, of course. So everybody was looking at this Xbox. Sorry, I got off topic again. But everybody was looking at this Xbox and saying, okay, this thing's going to fail and flop like a spent dick. But what ended up happening was they looked at it and they said, holy shit, this thing works. This isn't Windows 98. This isn't Windows 2000 Millennium. This thing actually works. And so, of course, people love this thing. It's been out for like 7 years now. And in my opinion, I think it's leading in the gaming industry, even though I don't really even game. But, of course, so then the controversy starts. PlayStation 4 is coming out. Not a whole lot of controversy surrounding that. But then the Xbox is coming out. The Xbox One, as I like to call it. Now, I'll give you that. I think that's kind of a stupid name. They've been doing that a lot with a lot of other devices too. You take some of the cell phones, the smartphones, like the HTC One. But there's an actual HTC One that came out last year and an HTC One that came out this year. People got confused. People were getting sent the wrong phones. It's a whole lot of BS. Anyway, so with the Xbox One, people are really pissed off because they're thinking, what are you doing? Why are you doing this? I'll tell you why. They started adding things like, we want this console to be your everything. We want it to be your broadcast for TV, movies, surround sound. We want this thing to be your storage device for everything. We want it to be on the cloud. They want to be ahead of the game. Now, I don't know why this surprises anybody. It's Microsoft. Of course they're going to be innovative. If it wasn't for Microsoft and if it wasn't for innovation in this, we would be still sitting playing an 8-bit video game. That's pretty much what it is. If it wasn't for these companies taking that extra step and risking everything, some companies fail in that. We've seen it happen in the past. We've seen it happen with Sega. We've seen it happen with Atari even, But with Microsoft, they're not stupid. And the rumor is with this Windows 8 currently out and Windows 8.1 coming out pretty soon, is that they're a failing company. Microsoft is going broke. Well, I'll tell you right now, Microsoft is not going broke by any stretch of the imagination. They are not losing in any way to Apple. They're always competitive. There are more people using the Windows 8 or a Windows operating system at all in this world than there are people using Apple. Just because they're losing in sales in the mobile market, that means nothing to them. They make Office. Everybody that I know at one time or another has used Microsoft Office. They have developed software for years. Yes, they have their operating systems. They have the Xbox. They have their hardware. And now I think people are scared off by the idea of, oh shit, Microsoft's coming up with a console and it's going to do all of this. Whatever happened to just doing gaming? Well, somebody had to take that next step. You can only do the same thing for so long. It just becomes repetitive and you need to make that change, right? You've heard that saying that the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. These guys are actually doing something different and are going to get different results. They're not stupid. Microsoft is actually one of those companies, if you think about it, that if there's enough people that come to them and say, hey, listen, we don't like this. You need to change this. We need an update. We need this. We need this. They do that. Sometimes they prolong things. They might put something out, and if they don't get enough feedback, if they don't get any negativity or any positive feedback, they'll just let it ride. You'll see that sometimes with your operating system or even with your phone's iOS. You'll see with these things that they won't update that thing for a year. They'll do tiny, maybe little bug fixes, but they won't do anything that'll appeal to anybody that really need that change. That even if it's just something different, but they'll sit on it and they'll say, okay, well, obviously people are happy with this. And the Xbox 360 is, yes, everybody was happy with it, but these games coming out, these drives, these require a lot more space. So obviously, Microsoft looked at this. I'm sure in some way they looked at this and said, okay, well, if we come up with another console, we'll call it the Xbox 720. I believe that was the original title. At least that's what was going around. What we're going to have to do is we're probably going to have to put a bigger hard drive in it. We're probably going to have to put a faster processor in it. And this thing's going to require more power, more ventilation. And it's going to do this. It's going to pretty much do exactly what the 360 did. But the graphics on these games are going to look better. But that's not Microsoft. That's not really any gaming console. These companies they strive for this. They need to improve. You know, these guys aren't just sitting back saying, okay, well, I guess we could put another core in the processor and then just call it the Xbox 361, you know. So these guys, Microsoft being very innovative, they want to do something different. And I find that with this Xbox One, and I don't know if I'm going to buy it or not. I don't know if I'm going to buy a PlayStation 4. In their own rights, they're both appealing to me. They're both going to have great Blu-ray players, which is another story altogether, which is craziness, because I always thought that Sony would never give that up. They would never say, yeah, go ahead, use the Blu-ray. That's craziness. I always thought that was crazy. But anyway, so with Microsoft One, I mean, you just got to take, you know, I know in the words of James, you got to stop the hate on that. Microsoft does have a pretty good idea of what they're doing. They have been doing this for some time, and it might be something that everybody loves, and gaming is very important to people. But I think that you have to look at it from the perspective of the bigger picture, is that we need change. Even if it's gaming, if it's our mobile devices, if it's just our lifestyles that we live, nobody carries around wads of cash anymore. We all use debit, and there was a point where everybody said, you know, I'm never going to go to a bank machine. I'm never going to put this into a computer because I don't want my money getting stolen. It'll get hacked. There was a point where everybody was saying, I will never let something read my thumbprint. Or this will never be this way. Because this is going to happen, and this is going to happen. I think we just need to look at it as, let's see what happens with this, and give it a chance. I mean, because it's kind of inevitable it was going to happen eventually. We're going to get this set-top box on our TVs that's going to have all-in-one. Because personally, I am sick and tired of seeing a digital PVR box, a cable terminal, my modem, you know, and then the Blu-ray player. I look on my TV stand, I'm thinking, wow, this thing, it's all sitting there, sucking up all this dust and sucking up all this energy. I would really love to be able to just take it all out of there, throw one thing in there, and actually, maybe it'll draw me in a little bit to play a game here and there, you know? I mean, personally, I'm a PC gamer. But that's just completely off topic right now. We'll talk about that some other time when I talk about Steam and Linux. But anyway, you guys, I mean, what are your thoughts on this? Is it that big of a deal to you? I mean, there's so much controversy going around. I mean, it's eased up a little bit with Microsoft making some changes with the whole, you know, allowing people to use their games on other people's consoles and then not having to be online the entire time. I'm thinking that they're going to do some changes. They're going to do exactly like they've done with their operating system, Windows 8. They're coming out with Windows 8.1. And they're going to make sure these bug fixes are made and that people are happy with what they're using. Because they don't want to change things too much, but they want to make sure they're being innovative. And I want to know what you guys think of that. I mean, personally, for me, I'm always open to these new ideas. I love technology, and if it wasn't for change in technology, I'd be sitting here right now, probably on an IBM computer, maybe a single core processor running at 1.2 gigahertz, if that. So anyway, guys, I really appreciate it. Thanks for watching. And if you have any suggestions and any ideas on what they could do or what they should do, just, you know, leave a comment below. And thanks for watching, guys. Appreciate it.